Hello and welcome to SophieCo. I'm Sophie Shevardnadze. Iran's controversial nuclear ambition has cast a cloud over the Middle East. No one's backing down in Tehran, but a new president may create a window of opportunity for the long-stalled nuclear talks. The only agency that can shed light on what is happening inside Iran is the International Atomic Energy Agency, since they can actually step into the country's nuclear facilities, well, at least into some of them.
With more oil than it can sell or consume, what will a nuclear Iran fuel? Peace and prosperity for a nation, or enmity with its neighbors? Iranian nuclear facilities multiply and capabilities grow, while sanctions cut off economic lifelines. After changing its president, will Iran be more open to allowing inspection of its nuclear backyard? To prove its plans are pure and sensible, and that while fighting for the right for the peaceful atom, Iran doesn't get the bomb. We gauge the reaction of Yukiya Amano, head of the IAEA.
Yukiya Amano, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, it's really great to have you on our show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So you know the newly elected Iranian President Hassan Rouhani personally, because he used to be a nuclear negotiator. What do you think of him? What kind of person is he?
He is a person with very good knowledge of nuclear issues, and I'm looking forward to working with the new government of Iran. The IAEA is committed to resolve the Iran nuclear issues through dialogue and diplomatic means. So we'll continue our dialogue.
Would you say he's easy to talk to?
We don't know yet. And the role of the agency, IAEA, is not to speculate, but we will continue the dialogue, constructive dialogue with Iran to find the concrete solution.
Just because, above all, you're a very experienced diplomat, now you've become the new head of the IAEA. What does your instincts tell you? Is this someone, President Rouhani, that could move the Iranian nuclear negotiations from a dead point?
There are lots of elements on this issue. We have a long history, and this is a very complicated issue. So the best thing for now is not to speculate, but resume the dialogue with them, and then things get clearer. For now, I don't have the clear prospect, but by having contact with the new government, I think we'll have a better prospect for the future.
What about for right now? Can you clarify for us where are you at, Iran and the agency? What is your main stumbling point?
There are a couple of issues, and as Mr. Jalili said in the past, that yes, we have differences, but these differences are not the obstacle to reach agreement. I'm discussing with Iran with having that in mind. So we have the differences, but it is not impossible to fill the gap, and we'll continue the discussion. At this stage, we are not yet entered into discussion with Iran on specific elements like when to meet, where to meet, but definitely we'll have discussions with them.
Could you mind telling us what the main difference is? I'll tell you why, because we hear a lot in the press, the talks are going in circles, we have differences, but no one really understands what exactly is the difference.
Okay.
Do you mind telling us?
Yes. Unfortunately, I cannot tell the details. The reason is that I'm negotiating with Iran, and as a practice of diplomacy, we do not disclose the details of the ongoing negotiations. If I do that, I lose confidence, and no one wants to negotiate with me or with the IAEA. Nevertheless, I have been saying that IAEA needs to be IAEA should be able to undertake effective verification. We need to do our job, and if our hands are tied too much, then we cannot do the job. And if we cannot do the job, it is not the benefit of Iran, nor the agency, nor the international community. So how to organize the effective verification is the crucial point.
You know, Benjamin Netanyahu says that Iran is very close to getting a bomb. The red line is almost there. Obama has somewhat a different assessment of this issue. What is your assessment? I mean, I know you cannot speculate, but you surely have your own thoughts.
We are not making analysis on the weapon making. We are the international organization to verify the peaceful nature of activities. From that angle, we have been verifying the Iran nuclear activities which are under IAEA safeguards. These activities under IAEA safeguards are staying in peaceful purpose. What we observe is that Iran's capacity to produce enriched uranium is increasing. The amount of produced enriched uranium is also increasing. On the other hand, we do not understand perfectly the undeclared activities, and this is the problem.
You know why I'm asking about assessment and speculations? Because I was reading a lot of articles beforehand, and two of the very well-respected independent analysts, they predict that most probably Iran is very close and will reach the critical capability very soon, and will have at least one bomb before any Western intelligence agency or IAEA will know that. What if we miss the bomb?
There are various elements, but we think that if there is a big change, we can detect it in a reasonable amount of time. Regarding the amount of enriched uranium or future development, it depends on various elements. How many centrifuges they use, whether Iran does the conversion from enriched uranium to another form. So there are various elements to estimate what will be the amount of enriched uranium in storage. So that is the reason why I say we cannot speculate.
Out of all the nuclear facilities in Iran, which one raises your concern most of all?
I will not say concern, but again, I would like to say that a certain number of facilities under safeguards. I do not have a good knowledge of undeclared activities. So this is first point. Second, regarding the declared activities, we continue to verify that they are staying in peaceful purpose, but the capacity is increasing for the enrichment of uranium. In addition, the construction of a heavy water reactor is making progress. So these are the facts.
Is it fair to say that at this particular point your agency doesn't have a proof that Iran wants to make a bomb, right?
We have never said that Iran has nuclear weapons. We have never said that Iran has decided to nuclear weapons, to develop nuclear weapons. But what we said is that Iran has the questions to which they have to answer. And without clarifying these questions, we cannot give them a clean bill of health. This is where we stand now.
Have you personally been to Iran? Have you seen these facilities?
Yes, I visited Iran before I became the Director General, and I went to Iran after I became the Director General, and I had a discussion with Mr. Jalili.
You know, Russia is helping Iran fulfill its nuclear ambitions, but at the same time, it is the main facilitator in talks and negotiations with the West. Would you say its activity is more of a help or a hindrance?
First, regarding the negotiations, the P5+1, 5 countries, permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, and Germany are having discussion with Iran. And Russia is, of course, a very important member of this P5+1 discussion with Iran. Russia has an important role I hope that the P5+1 negotiations will make good progress.
So it's okay with you that Russia is helping Iran to fulfill its nuclear ambitions?
Russia is an important partner for the IAEA. Russia is a very important member of the IAEA. Russia is the member of the P5+1 dialogue, and this P5+1 dialogue is a very important one.
Mr. Amano, your predecessor, Mohammad al-Baradei, actually said that notwithstanding what you think of Iran's position, you need to address their sense of insecurity, which means that Iran is surrounded by countries with nuclear capabilities, and they have a presence of American troops in the region, so they feel like they need to somehow answer to that. What do you say to that? To that replique?
My predecessor, Mohammad al-Baradei, had his approach, and I deeply respect him. Myself, I am focusing on the basic objectives of the IAEA, and with regard to the non-proliferation, my responsibility is verify that all the materials is in peaceful purpose. Of course, we have other important objectives like technical cooperation, nuclear power, but with respect to Iran nuclear issues, providing the factual information, impartial information to member states to facilitate their judgment is the most important thing for me.
Yukiya Amano, the Director General of IAEA, is our guest today. Coming up next, Israel's bomb threat, how real is it? And what good are sanctions when it's the people who are hurt the most? Stay tuned.
This journey is not about seeing the world, but it's a mission that I put to myself. The project won't succeed if I stay in the same place all the time. I've been traveling around the world for 20 days so far. In all that time, I haven't spent any money at all.
The main idea of the project is that the artist paints people's portraits in return for some goods.
We have to get used to each other. I think he's a little disappointed about the barter thing, because we're still spending a lot of money. I mean, I spend it. He shouldn't worry about that, right? I don't think Sergei's a great artist, but I don't think he's a con man. If you don't like the painting, you just don't give anything.
What is the future of democracy in the Arab Middle East? In the wake of the coup d'etat in Egypt, is this region condemned to a vicious cycle of uprisings and brutal suppression? What about the claim Islam and democracy are incompatible? And does the West really have an interest in seeing the people of the Middle East free to decide their own destinies?
I'm used to the tundra, to freedom and my deer.
In second grade, I ran away from the boarding school with two of my friends. We ran to the tundra.
The tundra is just mosquitoes. I don't know how people can live there. There are no TVs in the tents.
How could I send my child to a boarding school? I wouldn't be able to sleep at night after that. They enter life without knowledge of how to do basic things. They don't get that in school.
I would rather ask questions to people in positions of power instead of speaking on their behalf. And that's why you can find my show, Larry King Now, right here on RT. Question more.
Some of these traditional chili lines, they've been bred and developed and passed down from generations.
This is a total destruction of the culture of New Mexico. And I tell everyone, I mean, this is not going to impact just only New Mexico. Whatever happens here will go throughout the whole world.
Now we're eating antibiotics in the meat, in the milk, in the eggs, in all the organisms that were fed, genetically engineered crops.
Why do you think this country is full of obese and sick people? It's because we have a crappy food system.
Permission free. Accreditation free. Transport charges free. Arrangement free. Risk free. Stereotype free. Download free broadcast quality video for your media projects at freevideo.rt.com.
Welcome back to SophieCo. Now, we've been looking at Iran's nuclear ambition with Yukiya Amano, the Director General of International Atomic Energy Agency. Israel is the one state most intensively concerned with Iran's nuclear achievements, saying the bomb is already within Iran's reach. But in reality, does Iran want a bomb, and how close to a bomb does it stand? Let's gauge how concerned is the international community right now.
Nuclear Iran. What stands behind it? A dozen nuclear research and development facilities, some open to inspections, but crucially, not all. Does Iran harbor secret ambitions, facilities the world has yet to see? Some claim Iran does. The known plants are presented as peaceful, but without access to Iran's nuclear backyard, how can the world be sure? Global nuclear suspicion is further fueled by missile tests, putting delivery power in Tehran's hands. But what does Tehran have? How close is it to the bomb? In 2010, the UN nuclear watchdog declared for the first time there was evidence of Iran's drive towards nuclear weapons. Iran's enrichment is already up to 20%, enough for a peaceful atom. Can it seek 80% grade without the world knowing? The problem is the gap between what Iran says and what Iran does.
Human societies are well over nuclear weapons. They are so 20th century. It is the most brutal weapon that can be used against others.
Severe international sanctions have sent the Iranian economy down, leading to double-digit inflation and unemployment. Western companies shun Iran, leaving its key industries to crumble without much-needed investment. But despite this, Iran's government seems determined to follow the atomic path. Regardless of the price people are paying, the hardships they suffer. What can the global nuclear watchdog do to dispel the rumors and clear the air?
You know, you've stated so many times that, you only want to focus on the technical part. But the unfortunate truth is, you're under the limelight, because whatever you say sort of results in political discussions or decisions. For example, there are some, like Israel, who would rather have a direct confrontation with Iran. How do you protect your agency from bomb Iran lobby?
Important thing for me is to stay impartial and factual. In order to stay impartial and factual, I have to stick to the principle. Then what is the principle for non-proliferation? That is to respect the rule. And in case of non-proliferation, comprehensive safeguard agreement is the standard. Also, if there is any UN Security Council resolutions in this regard, that is also a rule. What I'm asking to all the countries, not only Iran, but to all countries, is to fully implement the relevant rules. By sticking to this neutral, fair standard, I can stay neutral. Of course, I believe that IAEA is a technical organization, but as you mentioned, the environment in which we are working is very political. Therefore, it's important to respect the principle. I would say IAEA is a technical organization that is working in a very political environment.
So, let's say if Israel or when Israel will strike Iran, will IAEA in any way feel responsible, not responsible, guilty? Because, you know, this is a big possibility.
I do not speculate, and for now, what I'm doing is to solve the issue by diplomatic means. So it's not good for me to make comments on the hypothetical questions.
SIPRI, which is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, estimates that Israel now maybe have around 80 nuclear bombs, which is pretty intimidating. I know you don't speculate, but you know this hinders your negotiation process with Iran. Maybe that's why they're so reluctant, you know, to talk and to negotiate and to make progress, because they're thinking Israel has 80 nuclear bombs.
What Iran has to do, as well as other countries which are the members of the IAEA as non-nuclear weapons state, is to implement the comprehensive safeguard, and that is the only thing. And other relevant obligations, if there is any. That is the only thing that I'm asking Iran.
Do you think Israel should sign up for NPT?
That is the question you need to ask to Israel. But it is clear that they don't have the intention to sign NPT for now.
But is the agency making any effort right now in that direction? Do you think we can ever see nuclear transparent Israel? Because they're also very intimidated, considering countries that they're surrounded with. They feel isolated and insecure as well.
The IAEA and myself has been supporting the nuclear weapon-free zone in Middle East, and we are ready to help them. In 2001, the General Conference adopted a decision to ask the Director General to host a forum on nuclear weapon-free zone in Middle East, and the objective is to learn from the experience from other nuclear weapon-free zones. In 2011, I hosted the forum, and the Arab states as well as Israel participated. This is a very difficult issue, and the position of countries are different. Still, we could have a very constructive discussions. And this shows that despite the difference, despite the historical background, we can sit and discuss this issue in a constructive way. Still, it was not easy. It took some 10 years to simply organize this forum. But I just would like to tell you that the IAEA is making a contribution to facilitate the establishment of the nuclear weapon-free zone in Middle East.
You know, Israel and United States list Iran as one of the main threats, and Israel is going over concerned. Because you know so much more than anyone else about what's going on inside Iran, what would you advise President Obama? What your advice to President Obama would be? How should he proceed?
I think the most important thing for now is to build the confidence. Restore the international confidence is very important. And because of the lack of confidence, it is very difficult to make steps forward. And in order to enhance our confidence, transparency is most needed.
So it's really Iran's job to give more transparency, not Obama's job. But you would tell him to what? Wait, don't rush to things, and maybe everything could be dealt with diplomacy?
The diplomacy is the way that my organization, IAEA, is addressing. And other countries, including the United States, is seeking the solution through diplomatic means. So the best thing for now is to encourage the dialogues between P5+1 and IAEA and Iran.
Well, you know, you're saying Iran should be more transparent, but I read in the press that Iran is accusing your agency of actually siding with Americans or Israel and giving them some information that only your agency would have access to. What do you say to that accusation?
No basis at all.
Are you optimistic about where it's going with Iran from now on?
We, again, do not speculate. The advantage and strength of the IAEA is to stay factual. We are not the organization well known for the future speculation or future prospect. Our job is to go to the ground, send the inspectors on the ground, collect the information, share the precise, factual, detailed information with member states to facilitate their decision making.
And finally, you're here in Russia for a conference. What do you expect from this conference? What do you think? Could there be any tangible results?
This conference is taking place at a very timely, in a very timely manner. Over 2 years have passed since Fukushima Daiichi accident. Russia is one of the leaders of nuclear technology, and lots of ministers and experts are attending this meeting. So this is a very good opportunity to consider the future of nuclear power, and I think a very good result will be achieved. I mean, a good understanding by member states will be worked out through this conference.
Our guest was Yukiya Amano, the Director General of IAEA. You're with SophieCo, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.